It all started with Henry I, who appointed messengers to carry letters for the government. But it was Henry VIII who created the Royal Mail in 1516. This was for government and royals only. Private individuals still had to make their own arrangements. Henry III provided uniforms for the messengers. Edward I instituted posting houses where the messengers could change horses and relax a bit. In the reign of Edward II, it saw the first postal markings. The first were the handwritten markings of, for instance, post haste, meaning to make sure the message was delivered quickly. Later on, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, letters were postmarked with a gallows. These were known as gallows letters and were sent as urgent. In 1635, the Royal Mail was made available to the public by Charles I, when the monopoly was handed over to Thomas Witherings. By 1640s, due to the Civil War, Parliament took it back and handed it over to an English lawyer and parliamentarian, Edmund Prideaux. Edmund Prideaux, who ran it through the Civil War at a profit to himself. Although the Royal Mail was improved, it was through some rather shady methods. In 1653, the Protector, Oliver Cromwell's Parliament, gave the monopoly, after being taken back from Prideaux, to John Manley. With the improved foundations set, Manley went on to improve the post office service further. By 1655, total control was passed to the man, who many saw as Cromwell's spymaster, John Thurlow. Thurlow wouldn't stop the messages sent by people thought to be conspirators like the others did. Nope, he would read them. When the monarchy was restored in 1661, all the Parliament Acts from the Civil War vanished, and the Royal Mail became the General Post Office, established by Charles II. England, Scotland and Ireland were joined together, placing them all into one monopoly post office. The first Postmaster General, Henry Bishop, was appointed, and the letters would have a seal placed on them. Well, even then, they had their complaints. People were annoyed at their post being delayed. Henry Bishop, the Postmaster General, started putting a postmark in the shape of a small circle on the mail, with the day and the month inside. This was applied at the General Post Office in London and called the Bishop's Mark. Ralph Allen, a postmaster, had the foresight to see that the mail could be delivered faster and in bulk to other postal offices around Britain by horse and carriage, but only carried the Royal Mail, usually. He signed contracts with the post office and organised the contracts for mail coaches to be used, and the Royal Mail coaches ran in 1784. Over the years, the monopolies given out became unstable and corruption was rife. There were attacks against the then government, one of them being from Robert Wallace, who campaigned for cheaper postal services. This led to a government commission being set up to investigate the problems, and so the government became the only monopoly. Sir Rowland Hill, an English teacher, inventor and social reformer, spoke at a meeting of the Commission on February the 13th, 1837. He suggested that a flat rate of 1 penny per half ounce be introduced regardless of the distance. Instead of the recipient having to pay the postage, he put the idea of a prepaid adhesive stamp and an envelope to place the letter in instead of a folded sealed letter, and it was accepted. But it wouldn't be put into place until May the 1st, 1840. The penny black wasn't meant to be used until the 6th of May, but some were used before that. He was given a contract for the new reform. A competition was set for designs of the new stamp. Even though there was over 2,600 entries, they didn't think any of them suitable. He wanted to make sure the stamps would be difficult to forge. So a design that Hill had endorsed by Henry Corbould was chosen. It featured a profile picture of a young Queen Victoria and based on a cameo portrait by William Wyon when she was a young 15-year-old princess and had visited the City of London. This image would remain on all stamps the entirety of her reign until her death in 1901. The words postage and 1 penny were added to make sure it was distinguished from the usual revenue stamp. The black background was made of finely engraved engine turnings. The 2 upper corners showed the Maltese cross with solar discs in the middle. The 2 lower corners show the position the stamp would be on the sheet when printed. The stamps were printed from an engraving by Charles Heath and his son, and printed out onto unperforated sheets. The penny black stamp was printed on 11 plates, but over time the original first plate became worn and another first plate made, making the first plates 1A and 1B. So by the 11th plate, a new plate that had been designed for red stamps had to be used, meaning that the very small amount of penny black sheets printed on this was only around 168,000 on the 27th of January 1841, and are now classed as very rare. The British Postal Museum in London is the only known owner of a complete sheet of penny blacks. I was personally surprised at the amount of penny black stamps that were printed, at more than 68 million being produced. This being said, means that the penny black wouldn't be classed as particularly rare. Apparently around 1.3 million are estimated to still exist. The most desirable penny black for a collector would probably be one posted on the 6th of May 1840, the first day. There are fewer 7th and 8th of May stamps than the 6th of May, so really they should be more collectible and valuable than the others, but apparently they're not as valuable. Some collectors, I've been told, tend to look for the stamps that have some slight flaws in them. When the penny black was phasing out, ready for the new red stamp, the responsibility of cancelling the stamps lay into the hands of individual postmasters across the country. This led to different ink colours being used to show it had been cancelled. A large stamp of the Maltese cross was used to show these were cancelled. But because of the different ink mixtures, the Maltese cross showed different shades. Some were blue, some were brown, and a ruby red. There are also ones that have odd-shaped crosses on them due to the original one getting lost or broken, so the postmaster would have to make his own. They are rather uncommon and very much prized by the collectors. How much are they worth? Well, that depends, I guess, like anything, on the condition, the plate used, number 11 being the most sought after. The white margin, this shows where on the sheet it was taken from. It's difficult to say how much they are worth. Some in poor to okay condition can go for around £15 to £30. Between £40 to £150 for ones in good condition. In mint condition, they can go for well over £1,000. The ones that have irregular edges where cut badly when being taken off the sheet are apparently very popular and go for a higher price. The fact that the penny black stamp is still in extremely high demand more than 150 years after it was first produced is a testament to its popularity. It may have been small, but this rectangular piece of gummed paper left a lasting legacy for 6 main reasons. It was the world's first adhesive stamp, made sending letters affordable, changed the way the world communicated, developed new ways to process and deliver mail, unified the price of sending letters, encouraged people to read and write. Thank you for watching.